There we go. Hey, we're live. Welcome to the Energy Question with David Blackman and Energy News Beat with Stu Turley. We are both here today with a very special guest to talk about the shooting or the attempted assassination of President Trump a few weeks ago. That the event, the news media is in the process of trying to erase from all of our memories. But George McMillan with Raven Geostrategic Consulting is here today to give us some real scientific analysis of what actually happened in Butler, Pennsylvania that day. George, how are you today? And thank you for being here.
Yeah, I am doing great, and it's a pleasure to be here. We'll go over the different aspects of this. What I wanted to hit, in the note I sent you before, we can go over and knock out a few different hypotheses about multiple shooters, because the controversy is whether Crooks acted alone and fired all 8 shots, or there's multiple shooters. So it's I did from Saturday the 13th. We did storyboards just to establish shooting lanes, and then Mike Adams picked it up and corroborated that with his sound analysis. Then that got picked up by Ann Vandersteel and Chris Martinson. And then it's kind of been a little bit of back and forth in corroborating sound acoustic analysis and shooting lane analysis. So yeah, one thing that was discounted from the beginning was water tower theory, because the distances, the sound differential between the supersonic cracks going over Trump's microphone and the report didn't add up to a water tower shot because it's too far. The time gap would be too much.
Yeah.
So some people were right about that. So then that narrows down the focus, and you can systematically start reducing what's possible. That reduced it down to a 2-shooter possibility. And then it's gone back and forth. When I thought the body was closer to the second floor windows on the more towards western side, that lends itself to a second shooter theory to account for the acoustic differences between shots 1 through 3 and 4 through 8, because shots 9, 10, and possibly if there's an 11 in there would be law enforcement officers shooting the other direction. And clearly they're suppressed shots, because you hear the sonic snap, but you don't hear the report.
Right.
So some of that is obvious, so you can tell which way the shots are going.
Yeah.
Who's doing the shots then becomes into question. And then that's why you're using shooting lane theory, because it's been 2 weeks and there has been there's just been nothing from the government. So
I know. Isn't that amazing? I mean, this is one of the most important political events in the 21st century. And have we even had a single public briefing conducted by the FBI in the wake of this shooting yet? I don't think we've had one.
No.
Yeah, I mean, it's just amazing. Every time you have a local fire in the little town of 60,000 people I live in, we've got the fire chief on television giving the public a briefing. It's just astonishing. Why do you think that is? Do you have a theory about that?
A lot of it is, I mean, okay, with all the lawfare that's been going on, not only for Trump, but all of the supporters, then you have just massive amounts of threats on the left. They're all online, whether it's Biden saying Trump should be in the crosshairs, or just the litany of online people saying that Trump should be assassinated, or go back to Congressman Waters saying, get in their faces and push back on them. That famous gas station speech when Trump was first elected. It's been so anti-Trump. The ridiculous lawfare against Paul Manafort, George Papadopoulos,
General Flynn, and
General Flynn, Roger Stone. Well, and then even Julian Assange.
Roger Stone was so pathetic as well. I mean, unbelievable.
Yeah,
they all were.
Right. Yeah. Well, Randy Credico had no problem with it. It was clearly a spat between Randy Credico and Jerry Corsi.
Jerome Corsi. Yeah.
And even Bill Kunstler's ex-wife was Assange's attorney. They were all arguing, and it
that's
was
right. Yeah.
that was that whole thing was ridiculous. The Steele dossier was ridiculous. The Spygate thing was ridiculous. Carter Page, the charges against him, they doctored his email from CIA that he was working with them. Just a whole bunch of documents were doctored and altered, and so now we have this. And now
we have this, yes, and it's it's like the wake of the Kennedy assassination, where you had all these crazy theories flying around. You don't know what's true or not. I was so glad to see you come out with this real sterile, fact-based analysis that kind of helps debunk some of the wilder theories that are out there. So kind of to let you kind of just go through what do you think? Where do you think we should start?
Yeah, I want to get to the water tower. Well, let's go ahead and get the bottom floor windows out of the way.
Which slide deck would you like to look at? Or
well, that's the video clip, right?
That's the video right here.
Right. I will bring that right here. Here we go.
There we go.
Because we can just.
So what are we addressing here, George? We're looking at the bottom floor theory that there was a shooter in the downstairs.
Yeah.
Is that a correct statement?
I can back this up a little bit.
Yeah, we just need to back it up.
And roll it slowly, because here, this has the base of the water tower. I'm trying to find another one that's got the top of the water tower. Yeah. But yeah, there's no zip lines in the picture. The police are there before the shots go off. And yeah, there's no chance anybody can escape. And when we look up, we'll also see that. But just keep that posted for right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, right now he's going over the window. So I'll just stop it.
Go.
Let me back up just a second.
Yeah, and you'll be able to see sun reflected in these windows.
Yeah.
Now, George,
I'll stop it there. The windows are shut. Okay, go ahead.
Also, just as a footnote for our listeners, there's a lot of discussion and chatter I'm seeing about those storage or those containers back over there by the water tower. I have no idea if they are actual or not. I just want to put a pin in the storyboard there for people to look for stories for that shipping container.
Yeah, we'll just go back. I mean, I'll just hike it back a few seconds.
Coming in just
I have this on quarter speed, so I can we can stop it. Yeah, when we go to the other slide sets that's got the shooting lanes lined up, yeah, it doesn't have access to the podium.
Right.
You would have to be on top of it. But then when you wind this thing all the way back to the beginning, before the shooting, there's cops rolling up before the shooting into that back parking lot.
Yeah, I mean, that container's parked right in the middle of several police cars. I'm not sure that'd be a great perch.
They were talking about it for storage or how he got things there. So and that storage has got a history of some other things. So that's the only reason I wanted to put a pin or placeholder there. So
okay. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. So then, let's just roll. It's on quarter speed, but okay. So just people need to know the two windows all the way to the east of this AGR building on the ground floor are closed, because some people are saying, oh, the shots came up. Well, these windows are closed before, after, and during the shooting when the guy scans back and forth. By the way, this is Dave Stewart's YouTube channel. That's Dayve Stewart, Stewert on YouTube. So he's the one that shot the real DJ Stu 724 videos.
Yeah, that's his Twitter handle. Yeah,
that's his Twitter handle.
Yeah.
So they can go here and they can play this through what I do is I run it through at double speed, find out what I want to see, and then run it back through at quarter speed is what I ended up doing here. So let's just play it again, because he goes back and forth through these windows before, during, and after the shot. Now, we're not going to do that at quarter speed, the whole thing here. We just need to demonstrate. We just need to tell people where to go to verify what I'm saying. And it's before, during, and after the shooting occurs. So obviously the shots are not coming from the lower floor window. Plus there's people along the fence line. So the shots can't go through the people. Or even if you could get a shooting lane, it's got to go through the fence. So you have to miss the fence on the first shot. The first shot clips Trump's ear. So obviously it goes through. The sonic boom, people would hear that. Someone suggested that they were using subsonic rounds on 300 blackout. The problem with that is the bullet's moving so slowly at 150 yards, it's going to have an arc. Then you're not going to be able to get it through the fence, or it's going to fall short, or it's in the air too long and the wind's going to blow it. You're only using subsonic rounds for really close quarters combat, and you're not even really using it for that. You're really using it. It's mostly used to assassinate guard dogs. For drug dealers and stuff that have guard dogs outside their fence, and the DEA or whatever wants to get on the premises. You want something super silent just to eliminate barking dogs. So that's what they're used for. The subsonic 300 blackouts is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what you're using them for. You're only using them for 40 yards or less, basically. So it's not used for 150 yards. You're going to use something supersonic that's stable, because the bullet has to have enough spiral on it to stabilize, and going that slowly, it's not really going to. Or you got to shoot it at such an arc that it's.
Yeah, you can't make the shot.
Right. Then you're going to have a problem on the sound analysis. Yeah, you can't make the shot. It's going to be unreliable. Yeah. But then, you won't have a report and you won't have a snap. But we heard snaps and reports. Okay, if they shot it and there's no snaps and reports, then where's the pile of bodies with 20 shots?
Right. Hey, while we're on this topic, just very quickly, Christopher Wray decided to propagate a conspiracy theory in his testimony last week that Trump may not have been hit by an actual bullet or a whole bullet, but by shrapnel. And I guess that means he thinks these bullets just spontaneously explode in midair. Is there any reason to give that theory any credibility whatsoever in your view?
Well, if you look at the different films very, very closely, which Chris Martinson does, you see the bullet splash on the first shot.
Yeah.
As it hits one of the viewers, I can't remember. Well, wait, the names are in this or in the other slide set when we get there.
Okay.
Joshua did that. So yeah, we'll get to that, but it goes through somebody and it hits the railing and breaks apart. That was the first shot.
Railing. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at a different shooter
that,
between shots 1 and 3, because there is an acoustic difference that has to be accounted for. So then the argument becomes, is it a single shooter theory, but the acoustic difference is because he's orienting the weapon differently and it's echoing off the roof and the buildings behind him differently. So then you're looking at ejection port orientation and muzzle orientation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you're looking at factors that would contribute to that. Then if it's a second shooter, if it's a 2 weapon, if it's a 2 shooter, sorry, my comms are blowing up right now. So if it's a 2 shooter theory, then you have to have 2 similar weapons firing similar ammo, and they have to be about the same azimuth to the podium, because your shooting lane, your bullet paths have to line up. Yeah. If they're too far apart, people are going to hear, oh, one shot's coming from there and then the other shot's coming from there. But then the impacts are going to be so different. You're going to have people being struck in the stands differently. And we're going to go over that when we do that analysis at the end. We just want to get this ground floor window thing out of the way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll just I just want to stop. Okay, you're also seeing some glare off the windows. When you look at, well, it was Mike Adams that reported, well, and some other people that reported that some of these flashes might be a muzzle blast. I don't know if we're going to get into that in detail, but that's nonsense. It's just when David Stewart goes up and down the line at different angles, because he's walking back and forth, taking these pictures at different angles, the sun comes off of it at a different angle.
Yeah.
But the windows don't open and close. You know,
Yeah,
and
these are permanent windows that are stationary. They don't open and close. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it appears to be. So there's as a reference point, I'll stop right here. There's the vents. So you're about midway through the building. And there's the downspout. So Crooks is going to be directly above the right vent, I think.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So yeah, he's in the middle of that building, not towards the end.
Not towards the end. See, I thought he was closer. Yeah, people can see my cursor. I thought he was closer to over here, where he would be below one of these windows. But later on, as we kept on getting more footage and more verification where the stage was, where Crooks was, we kept on updating our different slide sets. And then, it was the process of doing that, of updating the slide sets, where me and Joshua are doing this very systematically, that we started looking at some other videos. And then we're like, okay, this hurts my mind. These people have no systematic understanding. They have no understanding of how to do a systematic investigation whatsoever. So, let's just go through this. So, here, this police officer is walking around. But again, the doors are shut, windows are shut. The vents aren't big enough to shoot through, because you got to get the muzzle. You have to have a lane for the muzzle, and then the optic is going to be a couple of inches on top. So you need a keyhole at least about, 3x6, right? Because you have to see it, then you got to maneuver. And there's nothing like that anywhere here.
No.
Again, it's Dave Stewart on YouTube. People can click through this at quarter speed and watch the whole thing, and even stop it like what we're doing, because I encourage people to replicate this. So people can see that. Let me speed this up a little bit so we can get to the water tower.
There it is.
Bottom of the water tower. There's one at the top. Was it I think it's the...
Do we know how tall that water tower is? Looks like maybe 80 feet.
I don't know off the top of my head. Oh, this is one of these things where, if I still lived in the Northeast, I would have driven over there, because there's more time fooling around with the computer and waiting to find the right photo shot. It would have been faster just to drive there.
Yeah. But
again, this thing was, miraculously, that whole venue was cleaned out by what, Sunday and Monday?
Yeah. I mean, they washed the blood off the top of the building and everything. It's like they're intentionally destroying the crime scene.
Oh, absolutely. See, and again, if people say, "Oh, these are conspiracy theories are out there," well, they created the void,
right?
That everyone is just crowdsourcing, trying to figure stuff out, which has produced the material. But they could have.
Was there anything else we were going to see with this video, George? Or
I want to go to the top of the water tower here. Okay, there you go.
There's the top of it.
Yeah. So there's no 443 mark.
Yeah, it's tough to see if there was even a zip line people were saying were out there, and how do you get rid of the zip line if the guy was going to get off of it? There's no egress out of a situation. So
yeah, I mean, and there's no way to go down off of that thing without a dozen people seeing whoever it is.
Right. And in another video, Dave Stewart has a picture of, no, that's not it. That's just a leaf. But Dave Stewart does have another video where he does see the drone in one of the body cam footage. the ESU officers are talking to the Secret Service guy on the roof, the one released by Grassley. He does say, yeah, they're clearing the water tower with a drone. And Dave Stewart does have a picture of that drone flying overhead.
Wow.
So that's out there.
I haven't seen that.
It was cleared. See, the thing is, not all, if you're doing a 2-shooter theory where one of them's in on it, like the movie, like The Parallax View or The Shooter.
Right.
Well, you can only have one or, you can only have a couple people in on it. You can't have a dozen.
Right.
All right. So at that point, there's too many people looking at stuff. So no, they're not all in on it. That's just not even plausible. So we just wanted to clear the bottom. We just wanted to stipulate at the beginning, ground floor windows are all closed. The flash that's coming off of it is not a muzzle flash. That's sun glint. There's we could go into the weeds on that, but Mike Adams pushed that out, unfortunately, but whatever. And the water tower, that's cleared.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
All
Good
right.
to know.
Go ahead.
What's next now, George? Which
Wanna
slide
go to-
deck?
Yeah.
Which slide deck did you need?
Oh, let's go to the Raven Geostrategic slide deck real quick.
Okay.
Great
And-
slide deck here.
Tell us which slide you would like it on.
Yeah, let's put you back here. Go down to 16.
Slide
There you
16.
go.
Yeah. Oh, wait, the lines aren't coming up as strong as this.
We can
as
see
they
'em,
are
though.
Mine. But yeah, drop down one and see what happens.
To 15.
And then wait, hold on. I got another one.
There's
Go
15.
down to 18.
18.
Maybe they're a little bit stronger.
Yep. They're there.
Oh, there we
Okay.
go.
Yeah. On the 16 was better, but the lines, I guess I need to make them a little bit bolder because
Okay.
they're showing up great on my computer, but they're not showing up great on StreamYard. We would just have to make them bolder. I'll make a note of that. But what Joshua did on 16 was trace a bullet path from each window on the top, on the second floor and on the ground floor, because it has to hit Trump's ear. Then it has to impact the far side railing of, let's see, it has to hit the far side railing. It's depicted in yellow there.
Right on the right hand bleacher. Yeah.
Yeah. So the criteria is it's got to go from a shooting position, either Crooks's body or a window, has to hit Trump's ear. Then it has to splash off the railing and hit that one person. After going through that one person's kidney or whatever it went through. And that guy walked off stage, by the way.
Did he really? I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah. No, it went through his abdomen and he walked off to the ambulance and then was airlifted out, from what I understand. Yeah, that guy walked off. That's tough.
Wow.
That is. But obviously only the Crooks's position is the only one that the angle's right for that, right?
Correct. So that, just we're doing a bottom line up front here, and then we want to go do the systematic analysis.
Wow.
Yeah, see, from Crooks's body position, it looks like he fired all 8.
Yeah.
So it took us 2 weeks of getting a little bit of information, but then you got to account for the acoustic differences. So a little bottom line up front here, it's got to be, if that's the case, it's got to be orientation of the ejection port and then orientation of the muzzle. When you have, I'll just, I guess I brought a prop here for
Cool.
for people to understand. So yeah, just put this up because some people may not be. Yeah, go ahead and get rid of that and put the picture on me for a second.
You bet.
All right. So
Sorry.
yeah, the ejection port's open, so it would be the orientation of an open ejection report.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. People see that. All right. So then the next point would be with a flash suppressor, you have holes all the way around it, but the bottom doesn't. And that's if you're shooting from the prone, so the muzzle blast won't kick up dust and then get into the barrel. So that's why flash suppressors are made like that. So if you're shooting it directly, if you're shooting the weapon directly straight up, that might change the orientation of the muzzle, and then the sound will be reflecting differently off the metal roof. But if you move it over, then these holes along the side will bounce off that roof a little bit differently, and the buildings behind it. So maybe that accounts for the acoustic part of it. I mean, again, Saturday night on the 13th, when Joshua and I and Sean were putting this together, the initial storyboards together, we're just doing shooting lane analysis. That's all we're doing. We didn't learn about the acoustic analysis until later, and then we started going back and forth, because you either have to account for the acoustic differences or the shooting lane differences, one or the other. So just to give people an analysis of what actual factors would change with an orientation of a weapon for people that aren't familiar with the weapon system, that would be it. So now let's go to the assessment storyboard slide set, the other one.
Okay.
And okay, so with this one, go to the top real quick. And I just want to slam through this because I want to get back to the Raven geostrategic one and go over a little bit more systematically, because all we're explaining here is I did the storyboard on Saturday night, sent it out at 21:30 Central Time. The next day, people were texting me that Mike Adams picked it up on Health Ranger. And then that started, he used it to corroborate. So then, click down to the next one. Oh, okay. Here's the picture. I think everybody's seen this right now.
Right.
That shot, the first shot was going to hit him in the head flush had he not turned, and then the bullet went parallel.
Wow.
The next two shots, he moves forward, not backwards. So like a pitcher throwing if a pitcher wants to hit somebody in the head, you throw it back, because usually the person backs up, not goes forward.
Right.
Trump went forward. And the next two shots, because it's bam, 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 both missed, all three shots missed.
Right.
So then Trump goes down, because he stands up for a second and kind of stands there. He's trying to figure out what's going on. The other two shots go off, but he's actually kind of moving forward a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
A 6 mile an hour full value wind pushes that bullet enough that it didn't kill him, even when he turned his head.
Wow.
It's that close. So that accounts for the first three shots. And then the next shots are rapid fire. It's 5 shots in 0.7 seconds is what Chris Martinson calculated it.
Right.
So then that's just as fast as you can pull the trigger. And then there's a gap. There's a boom on the 9th shot, which is he's hitting the head. We'll go over that in a second. Yeah.
Okay. Is this the slide you wanted?
Yeah. See, with this one, it took us several days to get that shot. So that would be a shot if it was taken from Crooks's position. At first, I thought it was the west side of the building underneath the second floor windows. Now it's in the position where it's over those heating vent, those cooling vent, HVAC vent is what I'm looking for.
Right.
Those vents. Okay, so that's just a trajectory path. So then you would have to line, if that's Crooks's position, Crooks's first shot, then that doesn't make sense for two-shooter theory, because The whole point of a two-shooter theory is for the professional to shoot first, kill the target, assassinate the target, and then have the patsy shoot second, and then frame up the patsy.
Right.
You wouldn't have the patsy shoot first, because then if he misses, then the target moves,
Right.
which is what happened. Then why would you have the professional shoot second? What are you trying to frame the professional? No, it's the professional's got to frame the patsy.
Right.
You know, Parallax View with Warren Beatty in 1973. Saw that when I was a little kid. Shooter. I think they do that in that HBO series Homeland. They do something like that.
You saw that
Mhm.
as a kid's movie, huh, George?
Yeah.
Nice. Now I know why you turned out the way you did.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So
By
is this
the way, Hickok 45 and Demolition Ranch are one of the more entertaining shows.
So where would that red arrow shot even have come from? Is there some high building way back distance
let's
somewhere?
do that one. Let's just slam through this just
Okay,
real
yeah.
quick.
okay?
Yeah.
So yeah, here. So in this one, I'm finally finding out that Crooks is 20 feet to the east. That's all that's showing.
Okay.
But at least we have the stands in place at this point, and we're starting. You know, I'd already been doing the yardage, or the distance between the podium and the different buildings and the water tower. We'd already been doing that because, at the time we were just calculating different distances. And then you would try to work backwards and figure out, well, if you were going to shoot from that distance, what caliber of weapon would you use?
Yeah.
It's one of those kinds of things because, well, we're just doing that just because we do that. So, yeah, that's all that one was. We were trying to figure out where the Secret Service team was because we all saw the one on the left barn.
Right.
It took a few days to find out, to get footage of the CS Team 2 on the second barn.
Yeah.
But Greg Lapin of Fieldcraft Survival was saying they were shot with an SR-25 from several hundred yards away, and we were trying to figure out where that position was because the first two counter sniper teams on the Red Barns clearly had Accuracy International shooting 300 Win Mags because you can tell by the magazine. So we're like, Greg knows his weapons 100. He knows more than he forgot more than I'll ever know. So he wouldn't confuse them. So then we found out it's on the wooden bleachers and the tractor pull area of the show.
Yeah.
So it's a shot from a different distance. So click down because we're going to go over that in the next slide set. Yeah. So this is just John Cullen has some theories because you had John, we're addressing that because you had John Cullen on a couple weeks ago. And then Chris Martinson has had some different footage. So just click down. We're just, that's go up a little bit, go up one. Yeah, so that's the photo that Mike Adams used on Saturday night, Sunday morning. Click down a little bit. Yeah, Pooh is point of origin, and Poi is point of impact.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how you do that, and that's how you word that in an operations center. Yeah, in this one, okay, we start off with a single shooter scenario because they said Crook shot the guy. So I mean, you start that off as hypothesis one, right? So there's the first counter sniper team. Yeah, click down. We got Greg Smith, I think his name is.
Yeah.
He's the guy that made the BBC interview. We were using his photo to try to find out which buildings we're talking about because on Saturday night, if you go on Google Earth, I started out on Google Maps. If you go to Google Maps, it doesn't show you where the stage is. It's just
Right.
Okay. So we didn't know where the stage was. We didn't know where the counter sniper teams were. Crook shot from somewhere. We didn't know what building that was. So we're just analyzing different footage. Actually, if you go back up a couple slides real quick.
Sorry.
Yeah, just go back up a couple slides sets real quick. Keep on going. Yeah, just or just go to the top real quick and then click back down. Yeah, there. Wait, stop. Go back down a little bit. Go back one. Another one. You went over it. Go back. Go down one. Oh, where is it? It's
Okay, here's the beginning.
yeah, okay, click down. Okay, just stop right there at the second one. Sorry about this. Those blue lines on Google Maps will show you the ground level view. So once I hit ground level, saw where the blue lines were, and I started tracking on the different blue lines to get a street level view. Then Joshua and Sean were looking at the different videos to see, oh, okay, wait, stop. This video is shot from this angle. So we started lining up the buildings and started assigning labels to different buildings as I drove around on Google Maps, and they're looking at different videos saying, stop. Okay, we can pin this video to this angle, this video to that angle. That's how we started piecing this together, absent a view of the stage. Okay, yeah, click back down to towards the end. And we'll just wind up this and then move on. Yeah, so then just stop there. So it shifted Saturday night from the single shooter hypothesis. I saw what people were sending me, what Mike Adams did, what Chris Martinson was doing, and John Cullen was on with Brett Weinstein that night, I believe. So we added this photo to say, okay, if it's going to be a second shooter theory, again, it's two shooter theory demands similar weapons, similar ammunition, because it's got to match the acoustics, shooting from a similar azimuth to Trump's podium, so it matches up with the different acoustics.
Yeah.
So that video, that shot there was just, I wanted a Google Earth shot just to see where alternative shooting positions could possibly be.
Right.
And then click down.
Well, right now, just for our listeners, if you're looking at that window on the second story, that one window right there, that has been viewed out of, that was what I understand to be the situation room that they all talked in, and that overlooks where the shooter is, or where he was. So that one room, it's almost in the center
second from the right. Second from the
right
right on the second floor. Yeah.
That is correct.
Oh, right. Yeah. So again, with Crooks's body, where I thought it was right in front of the first window.
Yeah.
On
right.
the right.
But it wasn't. Yeah.
But it wasn't. And the windows were all open pretty much. So that was my first. But then when we found out that the body was over towards the east side of the building, past those HVAC vents, I guess it would be more like 10 feet to the right of or probably about 15 feet to the right of the HVAC vents, actually closer to where that overpass is, actually, maybe 20 feet. I don't know.
Yeah. And it's a good 50 feet to the right of that second window where the agents supposedly were.
Oh, okay. All right. 50 feet. Yeah, I should have measured the difference, but my bad. Yeah. Greg Lapin is the one that said he was shot from an SR-25, several hundred yards. We'll get to where that one was. Yeah. And then, okay. So this is as we got more information, this slide set built up. We knew where the shooter's located. Okay. That one's got it mislabeled. He's on the wrong overpass. He should be on the other one. All right. So, all right.
But this one has him in the right location. Yeah, right there. That one's correct.
Right. So then if we go on to, this slide set, within the past, since, let's just say Tuesday of last week, we started looking, we find out that, we had pictures of where the stage was. We had a better indication of where Crooks was. So now you have to have the first shots got to line up with Trump's ear and that the bullet splash on the railing. When
Yeah,
you
and
do
again,
that,
clearly Crooks's location is the only one that lines up that way.
is the only one that lines up.
Yeah.
So then you rule out a second shooter location coming from the second floor roof, because that would be striking people through and through in the bleachers. And they weren't. It was going more across them than perpendicular to them.
Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, I want to answer one thing here. Tom Mumford, Stu, your trust in the federal government is charming. Trust me, nobody on this podcast today has any trust whatsoever in what we're being told by the federal government. Just to clarify that.
Yeah, I have no trust.
But we have to go
whatsoever.
with the facts as they exist.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, I have that. Comments like that don't even make any sense, because we're just doing a systematic investigation. So we're just going by data. I didn't see any trust in anything.
No, we don't trust anything the FBI is telling us or the
Yeah,
Secret
that guy
Service has
was
told
just,
us.
yeah, comments like that are just dumb. Because they're not scientific at all. We're verifying. So yeah, that would rule out any second floor window shooter being first. And again, you don't have the patsy shoot first. You would have the professional shooter shoot first to take the assassination shot, and then you would have the patsy shoot second to frame them, if it's going to be a conspiracy theory like that. So when you start to do that, so okay, Crooks's accurate location of where his corpse was found rules out any second floor shooter theory shooting first. So then that puts it either Crooks shot first, or it comes out of one of the lower floor windows. And we opened up this video by looking at the window closest to the HVAC vents. That's why I pointed that out, because well, I knew that this slide set, and we had this slide set done days ago, right? So I wanted people to look at those windows, because that would be basically more or less directly under where Crooks is shooting, and then would fit the criteria of it strikes Trump's ear when he turns his head, and then strikes the bullet, goes through that guy's abdomen, and then strikes the bullet railing and implodes, because it's the first shot that fixes everything. And then
and so the problem with the theory of anyone shooting out of that first floor window right below Crooks is that those windows are so low. They're not 3 feet off the ground. You're not going to have an angle or a view of Trump's head from there, I don't think, because the grassy area in between has a rise in it. And it just seems to me it would block any view from those windows of Trump at the podium.
Probably.
And you've already shown they're closed anyway. There was no shots fired through the window. Yeah.
Yeah, they're closed. There's people standing in that area. So even if it missed the people, they're going to hear that sonic snap. Then they're going to turn around. I mean, and if you're shooting a semi-automatic weapon, they don't have they can't have a suppressor on it, because shooter 1 and shooter 2 has to be similar weapons, similar ammunition, so the acoustics would be similar. If they were shooting from inside, it would explain the difference in acoustics shooting inside for shots 1 through 3, and the second shots 4 through 8 being shot from the roof. That would account for the acoustic differences. But when you get down to the feasibility, then people right next to that are sitting on that or standing on that fence where Dave Stewart is walking back and forth, they would hear the bullet snaps go by him, especially if one hit the fence, right?
Yeah.
And then it has to go through 2 fences, and then has to go underneath that piece of construction equipment, that arm,
Right,
that's got the speakers on them. So it's got to be a tight shot. So you're not going to use a subsonic round if you have to make a tight shot, because it can't have any trajectory to it, because it's going to hit something.
exactly.
It has to be a 223, 556 would shoot very flat in those distances. That would be doable if everything else wasn't in the way, but there's people in the way. There's too many people standing there. Then the police swarm the place a minute before the shots. So then it starts to become a ground floor shot starts to become so unfeasible for so many different reasons. It's a complete non-starter.
Wow.
Yeah.
So after everything is said and done, yeah, we're pretty much back to a Crooks as a lone shooter theory. So then you have to go talk about, well, what would be the differences in acoustics between shots 1 and 3 and shots 4 through 8, and then you're talking about
that's really confusing to me, George, because when you take a look at the acoustic, when you take a look at the second floor windows, and you take a look at your lines, I wish they were just a little bit darker so you could really make those associations with where some of those windows would have come in, because there were 3 shots and they sound different than the 5 shots. And then you have the other shots, they all have the different sound patterns to them that are different.
Correct. Yeah, they certainly, boy, I've listened. Chris Martinson has a whole bunch of different cell phone footage, and he's getting more every day.
Right.
So he's doing different acoustic analysis from different positions. He's trying to get people's exact locations, or exact as you can get. He's trying to mark them, because you have the problem of a bullet going through over Trump's mic. Okay, it's going to be accurate, but you're going to have the supersonic crack in the microphone. It's going to go to the PA system and echo off the PA system.
Right.
Then you're going to have, it's going to be followed by the report that's going to go through the microphone and then be amplified in the PA system. So you're going to have some echoes from the electronics. So he's trying to shift to cell phone footage taken closer to the AGR buildings, to eliminate some of that noise and some of that confusion of using Trump's microphone for the acoustics. So that's, I've listened to a lot. Well, I've listened to his videos, gone over those acoustics with him, just at least a dozen times now. So you still have to account for the acoustic differences. And again, it's then you would be attributing it to orientation of the ejection port. Then also what Mr. Guns and Gear reports is he's seen the weapon. It's got a hollow sun red dot on it, holographic sight, and then it's got the 45-degree, it looks like they're Magpul flip sights on a 45-degree cant. So then you have to wonder whether he was shooting and then canted over and used iron sight shots for the crowd. See, now the ejection, if he did that, the ejection port would be pointed up, not along the roof line.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So now, does that change the acoustics?
That would explain why the shell casings that were found on the roof were not all in a similar part of the roof, right?
Oh,
I read
correct.
one report where they found a group over here and a group over there, and that would explain that. I hadn't made that connection.
Oh, yeah. We did. I'm always used to brass flying about 3:30, 4 o'clock position out of an AR.
Mm-hmm.
They fly out of an AK about the 2 o'clock position.
Yeah.
Yep.
They fly forward. So when they said they found some on the other side of the roof, it was Legally Armed America did a good video series on that. And he says if the weapon is overgassed, they might, when they eject, hit the upper receiver and then bounce forward.
Deflect, yeah.
Okay, so I've heard them going laterally 90 degrees in a 3 o'clock position to a 4 o'clock position. I'm used to them going basically in that arc, not forward. But he said, if it's overgassed, And for people to know, I mean, the gas block on the end, they can come in different sizes or they can become adjustable. So you'd be talking about a bigger aperture going over the barrel. So they say some of the cheaper weapons use a bigger aperture to make sure A, it lines up, and then B, it cycles. But then it's going to be then it's going to have a little bit more recoil. So you want to detune it as much as possible so the weapon cycles and feeds, and then minimize recoil on the shoulder.
Was this a Cheyenne Mountain or Cheyenne weapon system? I believe I was reading somewhere on that somebody was thinking that that's what it was, an AR built off of that.
It was supposed to be what I've seen reported. It was a DPMS, a lower end model, bought in 2013. But then when you look at the photos of the rifle laying on the roof,
right,
it's supposed to have a 16-inch barrel with Magpul Mo forearms, and in that one, it's got a free flow tube, and it looks like it has an 18-inch barrel, and then it's got the 45-degree angle sight, which means the guy does some IDPA or IPSC shooting or something.
Right.
Because he's using holographics for some shots, then turning it over to do iron sights for other shots. You would usually use those to shoot movers.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. Go ahead and click down or wait, where are we in this? Yeah. So yeah, this was when you go through the different sites. Yeah, you can go up to site 1 and we'll just go through it real quick up to page 1. We'll just slam through this part just so people can see how the investigation kind of evolved. So this is just a picture of it's got the water tower off to the right. It doesn't look like anybody's on it. And it's got, the front stage is in front of the barn, and you see the counter sniper team, one off to the left part on the roof.
Yeah, boy, I got to bring up a big safety tip. That's a seriously sloped roof. I mean, unbelievably sloped roof. That's just where their harnesses. Where is their safety
14.5 degrees on that particular roof.
Oh, this is unbelievable. Where's your safety gear?
The other one was less than 5 degrees. That one's less than 5 degrees.
They need to file an OSHA complaint now.
Yeah. Ooh, snap.
Oh, goodness.
All right. So here's the water tower again. No one's on it. Front stage, counter sniper team 1. Okay, let's go down to the next one. Okay, you're already I'm one behind you. Go up to the next one. Yeah, there you go. So Crooks is on the roof. That's why I thought he was closer to the west side than the east side, because
boy.
Yeah, doesn't it? Anyway, whatever.
Yeah, it looks. I know. I've seen that one 100 times, and it does look like he's so close over there.
Yeah, but then the light is clearly into the that overhang going into the parking lot. Yeah. The door, and that looks closer too. So it's kind of an optical illusion.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So then, stop there for a second. Yeah,
the red barns are where the counter sniper teams were posted, right?
Correct. So well, this one's obviously done in the winter, so there's no leaves on the trees, but you have on the left, that's the retaining wall where Crooks was standing. And then, there's the red barns. Oh, okay. The utility area marked by the safety cone. That's how Joshua figured out where some of those earlier photos were taken on Saturday that were uploaded, and we got them on Sunday.
Got it.
So actually, those were uploaded immediately. But that's how, that's how we figured out Saturday evening that of what the perspective was between the shooter and the red barns. We didn't know where the stage was yet at that time. So then now go of map of overview. So yeah, this is going from Saturday the 13th into that week, as every time somebody posts up a different video with different information, we're trying to locate stuff. So yeah, water tower, just where the different perspectives are. And this is just how we're starting to understand what the crime scene looked like. Because yeah, by Monday, I think everything was gone.
I think you've done more work on this than the FBI.
Yeah,
Did I just say that?
this is because I don't want to just say, oh yeah, it's got to be single shooter theory.
No,
I want
no.
people. I'm going over my first slide set, and then going over. Okay, we gave them the bottom line up front,
Right.
but I want people to understand historically how this evolved since Saturday the 13th. That every time we get a missing piece, we post it on the storyboard. Then you can do a systematic investigation of it.
Absolutely. Well, George, how do people find you? Because your analyzation, I just want to share with our listeners here that you have been on my podcast and are a wonderful resource for geopolitical knowledge, experience, and pipelines and energy, and a very trusted and valued analytical mind. Sorry, I didn't mean to compliment you, but how do people find you?
RavenGeostrategic.com or George McMillan on LinkedIn.
Are you on the X platform, Twitter?
Oh, I never post on that.
Okay.
I don't want to. I don't have time to go back and forth with with trolls. I mean,
Yeah, he works for a living, David.
well, I'm trying to, and you're a lot nicer to me here than in person. I mean,
Yeah, you got to catch Stu in the private moments, boy. It all changes.
yeah.
That's what I
Yeah,
get
but it's it's showing how it evolved by piece information, because there's nothing coming from the government.
Yeah.
And there's just a whole bunch of people just posting stuff. So pieces of a puzzle, as somebody posts something that's relevant, we add it to our storyboards, and then every time you get a new piece of information, how does that shift to different shooting lane lines? How does that affect the acoustics? How do you start corroborating different informations? How do you rule out second floor shots? How do you rule out the ground floor shots? People just need to know from day to day how that evolved over 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And just an editorial comment before we have to wrap up. It's important to deal with the facts and the data like this.
Yeah.
After an event like this, you don't want, and we've seen it over the years with the Kennedy assassination, where the CIA and some others in the government actually have crackpots get out and start throwing out all these wild theories about what really happened and what didn't happen. And all that serves to do is confuse the situation.
Right.
And make everybody else that's doing real serious research, like George is doing, it associates with these crackpots. And so it's really important to debunk a lot of these wilder theories that are out there, just so you have a playing field where we're all dealing with reality as it exists. And nothing that was presented here excuses anything the Secret Service did that day, all the negligence that happened, the Keystone Cops like comedy of errors. And it just is this is just an analysis of the trajectories and the sound. And I just think it's important to get it into the public.
Yeah. Let's just slam through the rest of this just real quick, just so people can think through it. Yeah. For the incompetence of the government, Dan Bongino handles that.
God, yeah.
Okay. He handles that. We're doing storyboards over here in data collection.
Yeah.
So if you go up to the Counter Sniper 1 slide, and just get through this real quick, that would be slide 10.
Slide 10. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you're looking at that, why the first counter sniper team didn't shoot, the tree's in the way.
Yeah.
All right. So then, so the tree blocks it. So then counter sniper number 2, I thought that was shot number 9 and they shot from there. That turns out to be shot number 10 at the 16-second mark or 15.2 second mark. Chris Martinson has got everything really timed out. But that's actually shot 10, not shot number 9. So let's go over to.
And that's the one that took the guy out, that took Crooks out?
That double tapped him.
Okay.
Okay. Did he add counter sniper number 3 position? Let me look. Okay. Counter sniper number 3 position. Go to shooter of Trump slide set. That's slide 13.
Shooter to Trump.
Oh, there we go. Right there.
Yeah, we'll just end it on that because, counter sniper number 3, who shot with the SR-25, according to Greg Latham of Fieldcraft, shot from the building that's where it says Raven Geostrategic at the bottom.
Right.
Shot from that building where the tractor pull competitions are.
No way.
Shot across. So we
wow.
didn't get it in. I wanted to add that slide set.
Okay.
It's not here, but just to give people that should have been labeled. But okay, well,
that was a long shot, wasn't it?
350 yards.
Yeah.
It's what I don't know what those SR-25 cost, but they're like $6 or $7 grand or something like that.
Probably 15K tricked out.
Yeah, well, you're going to add. You're going to add a variable
power
power
steering
to it, and
yeah.
So they're for an AR-10 platform. Yeah, they're double the cost. They're very good. I have a bunch of friends that use them, on the job. They usually shoot the M118 LR long range LRs.
Yep.
It has a 175 grain Sierra Match King is what they typically use. Okay, you can use 168s, but they usually use the 175s. A little bit better in the wind, more accurate. And it's a very fine rifle. So that's actually an easy shot.
Yeah.
If it's on a bipod or tripod.
Cool.
Man.
All right. So people can go to ravengeostrategic.com and see these and just go through these storyboards. But that pretty much puts it back to a single shooter scenario because the other bullet path lanes just don't line up.
They really don't, do they?
No.
It's taken 2 weeks to get all this put together and out there, I mean,
well, we had it, for several days ago. I mean, but I called Stuart. He said he was busy wasting his time talking to Dave Blackman, and I had to just wait my turn.
Well, there you go, George.
And where's Tom Kirkman?
Where's Tom Kirkman?
Yeah.
We got to have to get him on there. He's a lot of fun.
We should have had him on.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll get back to it. We'll get back to energy, but we also do armed security and security assessments too, along with the geopolitical stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, David.
Thank you. Thank you very much, George. Really appreciate your time here. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Now, even though you haven't received a briefing on any of this from the FBI or the Secret Service, after 17 days after the event, you got a briefing from us today. So I hope you all enjoyed it. This is more information than the rest of the public has on any of this. So you're welcome. And thank you.
All right.
That is all.
Have a great day, guys. We'll see y'all soon.
All right.
The stream is about done.